Good day, everybody. This is Sebastian Keynes. Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be another Watch Your Realms video. So we are here close to reset, as you can see here. For this first round, we only had about 4 days to really try to figure out what compositions we had in our rosters, to try to see if we could come up with teams that could do at least 30,000. So I started plugging and playing a lot of the heroes on my roster to see who could do the most damage, who could bring us the greatest buffs, and who, is going to make the core, at least, of this team here for Apocalypse 1. And then I can start working towards getting the stronger heroes ready for Apocalypse 2 and see how far we can climb up the ladder here in the future. So let me show you a couple of clips as to how I set things up, and then just briefly talk about the build so you can kind of get an idea of what it took to really put these comps together. For the first composition, I really wasn't looking to really incorporate too many of the heavy damage dealers that I had in my account. As you can see, I actually left Valeria on the bench for this example. But I do have Toreador. If you have Wrath, you can use them. You'll see me on the second example that I do use Wrath, because I somehow managed to get 2 Nightmare Comes going, I guess, in a sense. But then I started retooling after I was seeing the results in the second run. But here in the first round, you can see I'm bringing Pyrus in. He's going to give me the vulnerabilities whenever I need them. Dolores, of course, is going to give us the boost. Hollow, healing, rage boost. I'm also using Madonna support because we need a cleanse during the Drake stage. I'm bringing Bladov in. He's kind of like giving me a little bit of extra damage, but he's also provided me the bleed. And the reason that I'm using the bleed is because, as you see here on the bottom, Demis is using a Scarlet Hunt artifact, so he gets his damage boosted. And then I have Toreador, Abomination, Ares, and I'm using Magnus for this example. Abomination here is here for the stun, so just in case the boss enters into that saw mode where he is charging it, I wanted to make sure that I had some type of CC if he when he started to build it up, and make sure that we did not get killed. So here is the reason that I selected this group here, and I have 5 ground units and then 3 on the race platform. I'm going to fast forward here a little. I'm going to let this play out a little bit here, because I do want to emphasize as to why I decided to lay it out like this. So I'm going to keep showing as to why I placed everybody down. So one of the things that I took an opportunity is, if the fighters were 2 or 3 tiles extender in the range, they definitely went in the back. If there were 1, they went in the front. So here you can see me, I'm placing everybody in. And there is the key right there as to why I decided to use as many ground heroes versus the platform ones. Medan is right here in the middle. I unfortunately not clicked the bird's eye view on this, so I apologize for that. But Medan is right here in the middle, and she's facing to her to the left of your screen. So what is really happening is that she's going to cover everybody here. So when the boss enters the Drake stage and he does the Benomic spray, that then we can cleanse that off, and everybody can get that cleansed stuff. And then the platforms, I'm just pretty much just the support units that I'm using, and so I'm only bringing 4. But that is essentially why I decided to put this composition together, because that is what I was going for, to make sure that they were not going to be vulnerable to that venom that is being added to us. So then you can kind of see the run coming about. There were two different thinkings when it came to doing the damage. It was one, where at the beginning was, yeah, okay, I'll use the ultimates when he is in the weakened state. But then after that, as the fight was building on, I pretty much just decided I'm going to activate my ultimates to get that mode finished, get him into the weakened state, and then get whatever damage I can in the weakened state to push to the 30,000 Mech fragments that we need to get the top chest. So there are some situations here where you'll see me click on the hero, to get their ultimate activated, and there's others where I'm kind of waiting to see how far down I am in terms of the damage bar. So here I'm getting, I got rid of the Drake's arm, so then I'm cleansing things off. If you don't get this part down, he'll come again with the next spray. So you just kind of want to hold on to the cleanse as long as possible. Now, if he starts stacking up too many of them, he's going to do a lot of damage when he activates it. So you need to kind of time. You're gonna get a sense of how well your heroes are built, and make sure you get that cleanse when you need it. So you see him during the slam that my tank is the one that is taking that slam, and you see him rise up. So Torador here is the one that is built to take that slam during the fight. So there is kind of the mechanics of the boss. If you haven't seen my previous video, that's where I just go all over the mechanics. What is it that you need to see? What is it that you're trying to battle against? So here in the shield state, you just want to make sure that you get this down soon as possible, and you don't allow him to charge it too much, because as you can see here, he's just going to go across the ground and do this AoE damage that he does. So, and you want to make sure that you can get this part, or you got to get him out so that he doesn't enter that Aegis mode. So in the Aegis mode, as he starts stacking up this particular buff, he'll gain a defense, magic reduction, piercing reduction. So you got to get rid of it. You got to eliminate it. You got to get him down. So here we just did that. We were able to get him off the Aegis mode and get him down. Now we're again Drake's arm. Now we have to worry about the poison, and now we start doing the rotations again. So that is kind of the how things are playing out. So now here I'm gonna just fast forward a little bit just to show you kind of getting there to the end of the 30,000 mark, because then at the end we can start talking about builds and how things were all set up. But as you can tell here, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play a little bit here as we are in the later stages of the battle. You can kind of see that things starts getting a little tougher. He starts gaining a little bit of extra stance. You're gonna get slammed harder. It's going to be harder to bring that damage bar down. So yes, as the battle builds up, he does get a little bit stronger. And when he enters the Aegis mode, that is when you'll see it. It just gets really, really tough to try to contend with him if you allow him to buff up. So you see, so here in this example here, you see me kind of try to hold on to Maiden's Cleanse as much as I can. And so I held it off until I had him about 50% down, thinking that I could get the rest, getting all these ults activated, get the rest down before he had a chance to spray me again. Okay, so that's why I kind of held off in that round. So he went twice, but I made sure that he didn't go a third time. Given that I saw how the ultimates were building up here. So this was an interesting group to kind of try to make them to synergize together. Of course, you know, the nightmare compositions, they're going to be great for this. So if you have a lot of these heroes, I think you can take one set, do it for comp 1, second set for comp 2. Now, in my mind, at least from these 2 runs, I learned I can probably use the epics and the ones that did a little bit less damage for 1, and then save the real powerhouses for Apocalypse 2. So that's probably where Torador is going to go, to be honest. All right, so you can kind of see here the battle thing building up a little bit, and so I don't, for this run, I recorded so many runs. I'm trying to remember as to when it was that I finally cleaned out, just in case you're interested to see how much damage actually was done. So I'm just kind of fast forwarding a little bit here. Let me play it down a little bit. So there's we're trying to contend with the poison. So I think that this is where I lost Madone. And so I started looking at her build a little bit more to see how we can strengthen it up a little. But you can see the multiple sprays going on here. So I'm going to get her back in, see if we can build up her rage. but it's not going to be soon enough. Yeah, this is where it went. So I think I pushed a little bit over 38 with this composition. So I really think that if you have these epics and you can put in a couple of legendaries with it, you should be able to get top chest. Just make sure that your guild is working with you to get him down, seriously injure him during the week, so you can collect double the rewards. So that was run number 1, 38,000. So for this composition, I consider that to be a good win, because I did learn about the epics that I had and who could actually perform here. So the Bladov with Damus combination, because he has the bleed, and Damus had the Scarlet Hunt, really did help. And as you can see, that's what I got the most damage out of. It was Damus here. Let me pause this here. So 98, Magnus did great. I mean, I like this guy. So I'm not, he did it very good. There's going to be other heroes that are going to do a lot better than this. I'll concede to that. But these two, these nightmare heroes here, they're nothing to sleep about. You saw Abomination, 82. That's not bad. Ares will come, I'm sure. He'll come to the global server soon. Why did I like him in this composition? Because he has defense down in his basic, and that's why I used him. Give us a little bit more of an extra oomph on that. Of course, Bladov, he had some gear. It's just he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It's his bleed, and you got to take advantage of it as you can. If I had another build-up Scarlet Hunt, I probably would have put it on somebody else just to get the extra damage. So, and then you can see everybody here in the support. I will show you the builds, but I do want to show you some other clips before we go on to that part of the video. This is a portion of a recording that I made when I was testing out some other compositions that I had. So you can see that for this example, I was relying more on elevated platform units, so marksmen and mages. That was during my test run. But in case you haven't seen it, as to if you see on my other video, I talk about bringing heroes that have some type of CC effect on them. And so this is the stage where you're going to have to worry about this. So when he is in the saw mode, right, there's going to be a period where he charges his saw. He's going to start charging his saw. So this is the bird's eye view here. So you can see he's just charging this thing. Because eventually what happens is when he's fully charged, he'll slam you and he'll AoE damage you. And in some cases, if your heroes don't have a lot of HP, you're just going to get eliminated. So here is that portion. So when you see this bar here and he's charging, if you have stuns and freeze on your team, you can slow this charge down. And he basically becomes in this, one state mode. It's just charging it. So you just have to make sure that you activate, get as much damage as you can before that thing slams down. So that is where the CC effects come in, and you want to have those, at least one hero, just to slow that charge down and make sure that you get it before that saw comes after you. So to close it out, here is the other example. Based on what I was seeing, based on when I thought I needed an extra burst just to get me enough damage from this composition here. And this is where I use 2 of the remaining nightmare heroes that you have. If you have a more extensive roster, if you have Arrogance and Lust, this would be a perfect opportunity to use him here. Now, I also brought in Alistar. Alistar was a fusion. He can actually do some damage and with his Radiant Energy. So I took an opportunity of that with the test that I did. Now, I also tried to put like a Northern team together just to see who can do a little bit of damage here and there. I tried Borath, I tried Valkyra, and I was just mixing and matching with the Northern compositions. And then what I found out was Elder and Falcia were very good at doing damage. I brought in here Pelagios because even though he's a marksman, he was doing the amount of damage that I thought I needed to get through to the 30,000 threshold. So if you have a hero like him, maybe you have Hex, maybe you have Silas. That's kind of those are the heroes that you're looking to fill those slots down here. And of course, I'm bringing my girl Magda because she has excellent AoE damage, magic damage. So why not? And so with this composition, I was just trying to get things pushed up a little bit to the 30,000 mech fragment. Now, you're going to be curious about the tank. Why did I choose him? Well, because for the length of the fight, we want somebody that is going to be able to stomach the slam. But one of the things, if you go look at Orem's passive, is that he will grant critical damage increase to all the units around him. I decided to take advantage of the buff to get me that extra damage for everybody that was around him. And given that he was in the middle, it just gave me an opportunity to make sure that anybody that was around him got that buff. All right. So that's the primary reason why I used him. I saw him that he was tanking. He was lasting the battle. So why not get that buff? Use it to your advantage. So here, again, same setup as I did with the other composition. Since I have LON, she's taking the same spot that I used for Madon to help me with the cleanse. Now, one hero that I don't have, but she is working phenomenal because of her long range, and you can really maneuver the heroes that you have. You're not really restricted to having only so many ground tiles or so many platform tiles, right? So if I'm putting her here in this particular platform tile, I really only have 3 raised platform tiles that I can use, and then the rest are in the ground. And if you do the reverse, where you put her up on this side, on the sides, you kind of get down to 3 ground tiles, and then the rest are platform. But one hero that is really working in terms of being so flexible is if you have the Somi, there would be no reason for you to say that she will not help you at all now. She actually does. Another hero that I wish that I had in place of Vortex here would be Fercy, because Fercy gives me that extra inspiration. And that's what I'm actually going to be looking for here. How can I push this damage, the buff that I need to get? If Constance, maybe even Constance instead of Orem here would work a lot better. So kind of put these things together in your mind of how you're going to utilize your roster to put a composition together. Let me fast forward here a little bit of this run. As you can see here, we are at the 26,000 range. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I think that you're probably curious as to how much damage each one of these heroes did that I had. I'm going to push it a little bit to the 30,000 mark. I think that this is the one that went 34, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but this is one that I found that just because it wasn't about really too heavy damage dealers, it was having a good group of damage dealers that were very well supported, that was able to get me to push this into the 30,000 mark. There are a lot of heroes that I still want to play around with. The piercers were the ones that are I really want to see if I can get something with them along the way. But definitely there were some heroes here that I preferred over the piercers that I have. But if I had Silas or Hex, they would be in one of these teams. They'd probably be in the Apocalypse 2 teams, to be on it, because those guys are going to do very well, especially if you have a Legendary Lord to go with them. So as you can see here, things are kind of going, they're kind of crapping out on me here. Aegis mode, the slams, you just got too powerful for us to be able to survive it. And so this is the round where I think it did end close to 34, if I'm not mistaken. And so we just decided to take that result there. And now let's see the damage. So I accepted both keys on one. I wasn't too concerned about that. At least we got to learn how the boss is working. And just to get an idea too of how much damage each one of these were doing. So for me, a base Falcia did about 84,000 being set up this way. 79 on Elder. I had my Valeria did 65. I think she got knocked out early. 47 for Alistar here. So you can kind of get an idea of the ranges of how much damage I was able to do. And you saw the combination here of Magda and Pelagius just helped me in terms of just doing enough damage for me to be able to put to that 30,000. So those are kind of two examples that I can give you at the moment. I'm still gonna work to see what else we can do, and then in global server, I'll definitely will have more flexibility. Now I can want to quickly go over the builds that I actually put together as these runs were being made, just to get you a general idea of how much gearing was required to push this con. Folks, here's the build for the first team. So you see here that I have Abomination and Inferno set, about 22,000 attack, 299 critical damage, some decent speed, 400. Amulet of Arteries was the one artifact that I had for him. Magnus took my Wailing Skull. He was in an Soulbound Arcana set. I did push his attack to 27, 339 speed, 318 5 critical damage. So it's a lot of just gear swapping, just experimenting to see what I could do with each one of them. Ares got one of my best H-list sets that I have in this account. Not a whole lot of speed here, only 289, but you can see there's almost 21,000 attack, 336.5 critical damage. And the artifact that I gave him was Realm of Tear. Okay, so now we're going to go to Damus. Damus, as I alluded to, he had the Scarlet Hunt with this arcane set, 12,000 attack, and about 372 attack speed, 319 critical damage. Vladov, he had another Inferno set that I have in this account. So here we have about 12,000 attack, 401 speed, 294.5 critical damage. And of course, I tried to make sure that his speed was a little bit higher so he could keep up that bleed as much as possible. And here for Torador, I gave him the Goddess Grace, and he is in a Glacier set, almost 100,000 HP. And I wanted to give him a little bit of speed as well. So that's kind of that build for him there. Now let me go to the support cast to get you those stats. Okay, so here's Medan. Should have been Medan. There we go. So Medan in this example here is 309 speed in an invigoration set. So I tried to get some of the HP pieces that I had in this account with the healing effect. So you can see that I tried to push her HP above 40,000 if I could. Gave her a little bit of rage regeneration as well, which is what I was looking. Tia's Balm is the artifact. Hollow here has the Euphoric Orb, gives us a little bit of extra speed. So this is a little bit different from my standard guild boss build, because I did give her an HP bonus ring to make sure that she could last a little bit long. So 36,000 HP, some attack, some healing effect, and a little bit of rage regeneration. But as you saw on the left hand side, I actually put life force pieces on her to make sure that she survived the fight as long as she could. And I think that is it for the first composition, unless I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Dolores. Dolores standard build, invigoration with attack, attack, and attack. I do think that she got slammed there 3/4 into the battle, so I might tinker around a little bit to get her a little bit more HP. I'm gonna look at my pieces and see if I can get her a little bit more of HP. And Dolores had a Scarab Hunt artifact on her. Okay, so for the other composition that I put together, so Valeraya got an Infernal Roar set, and she is 22,000 attack, about 450 speed with 306 critical damage. Of course, she is crit cap, and I do have the Flux Pendant on her. The other hero that I used in this example was Magda. She took the Amulet of Arteries artifact that I had. As you can see, she's in an H-less set, 15,000 attack, 289 speed, 336.5 critical damage. So that's what she was looking in that portion of it. Let me see who's Who else was here? Was it Wrath? Yeah, Wrath was part of this. So I ran out of Soulbound Arcana sets and Infernal Rose sets, so I had a Wisdom set that I did like to use on him, so I gave it to him, 15,000 attack. He's not crit cap, or yeah, he has crit caps. He got 106.5 critical rate, 415 speed, and 315 critical damage. And he had some rage regen on him, which is why I like this set a little bit. So that's pretty much it for the fighters, or did I miss now? Oh, Falcia, Falcia. Yes, we gotta show Falcia. Falcia, Soulbound Arcana set, 7,000 attack, 339 attack speed, 318.5 critical damage, and she does have some rage regeneration on here, so about 22% to try to come back to that as quickly as possible. And she had the Wailing Skull on her. Okay, let me go to Pelagius. Pelagius, Bloodhound set for extra critical damage. I did gave him an ageless set. Okay, so I did end up running out of Soulbound Arcana sets, so that's the one that he got. As you can see, his attack there, almost 15,000, 477 attack speed, 294.5 critical damage. Not enough, not significant rage regenerations, but I do try to get pieces on them that do have rage regeneration. In terms of mage, okay, let's go to Alistar. Alistar Soulbound Arcana set. You saw that I tried to push his attack, 17,000 attack, 372 speed, 316 critical damage, and of course he had a Tear of Twilight on him. Those are the ones that work best. In terms of the healers, okay, let's go to healers. So this, in this example here, Elowen got the Euphoric Orb, and of course then she got the Invigoration set that I had set aside for Hollow. So that's just to make sure that she should survive the fight. So that's essentially what she has there. 15,000 attack. You see the speed is high, 546, and there is some rage regeneration, of course, with it to make sure that she can come back to her ultimate quickly. The other hero here is Vortex. Especially I think this is Medan's set, so the set that you saw on Medan is the one that he has. We got him to 40,000 HP, 309 attack speed, and some healing effect and some rage regeneration. So that's the build there. And the last one on the second composition, just to make sure that we close things up properly. So I used Orem again, but he is now here in a Guardian set. So I tried to get as much HP and defense that I could on him, balance that out. 92,000 HP, 8.7k defense, some attack speed, rage regeneration to try to get it to come back as much as possible. And listen, really, the reason that I decided to use him for this is because I wanted to get this critical damage increase, get a benefit out of that. And since he was tanking the fight, why not get every buff that you can into your composition? So he came in handy for that regard. As you saw, he didn't do a whole lot of damage, but at least he was able to boost our team to push us to that 30,000 threshold. So those are the examples that I can give you for this, kind of get a general sense of how you may be able to start thinking about tackling this content when this comes to the global server. So I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. As always, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. And I'll see you all next time on the next Watcher of Realms video. And please remember to hit like and subscribe on your way out.